Hey everybody, welcome. If you're watching the replay or you're getting this live, just wanted to say welcome. Hope you guys are getting in the holiday spirit and cheer. I am going to introduce Payton in one moment. We have a great call tonight. It's going to be really exciting. I would say take some notes if you'd like. Going off on duplication is the topic of tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce Payton. Payton, are you there?
Okay.
Oh.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So I was muted. Now I'm unmuted, and here we are. So everybody, happy week, happy Sunday. Happy to have everybody here, and I'm happy to be here. Have a good call ahead of us for tonight, as always. And but there's a couple of things that we've been working on and coming into the holiday season, wrapping up really the final quarter of the year, and marking this basically as the first full quarter of business that we've done as a company, as AAO, as Active Greens, as a collective, as a group right here. And so we have two goals for this call, basically, or maybe we have more than two goals for the call, but the way that I see it is that there's two goals. One is to have rhythm that we can rely on, right? Something that happens on a week-to-week basis that really acts as a heartbeat or a pulse for the business. And one of the great sayings that I always loved is it says, sometimes you don't need the meeting, but the meeting needs you. And sometimes the meeting doesn't need you, but you need the meeting. And so I always think about that over the years of building home-based business, is that sometimes the very act of just being here together, making the, saying yes to the universe and saying, okay, I'm going to take a few minutes to plug into my business and to really think about where I am, learn something, or contribute something. That alone is one of the key hallmarks that helps organizations and that helps companies and that helps checks grow. So tonight, whether it's you're here for the meeting or whether you need the meeting, right? Welcome, and we're really glad that you were here. The second thing that we wanted to build is we want to build an archive of resource that will be available for many, many years to come as people come into the business, because there's two aspects to a business like AAO and Active Greens. The first aspect of the business is the nuts and bolts, the physical how-tos, the what to do, the basics, which is basically as simple as inviting somebody, exposing them to the product or the opportunity, and collecting a decision. That's a hallmark basic of the business that will always exist, right? You're going to invite somebody to take a look, invite somebody to sample some product, look at what we offer, whether that's through the 5 non-negotiables or the mental toughness aspect of the business, or whether that's to add a supplemental income or to grow a full-time income, or to just enjoy the benefits of a world-class product, and then helping somebody to collect a decision. That will never change, right? We might change the way that we reach people. We might change the language that we use to make those invitations 1 year, 3 years, 5 years from now. Maybe we change the medium that we use. I know 10 years ago, I would have never thought that a majority of our international business would be through a platform like WhatsApp, but it is, right? And so we don't know 5, 10 years from now what those things will be. But what we do know is that the mechanics typically will remain the same. The second part of that is that the philosophy is, there's a great saying that says, old is forever new. And it's the philosophies that really create a bedrock of growing organizations, because it doesn't matter whether technology changes, it doesn't matter whether the economic tides shift, it doesn't matter whether the challenges of the world change, as they always will. And we don't know exactly what we'll be facing 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years from now. But what we do know is that as we face challenge, because we know we certainly will, and we know that the same wind will blow on us all, it is the set of the sail. It is the philosophies that develop that become the thing that you see people time and time again, company after company, organization after organization, country after country, going out and getting a predictable result. You see people rising in the face of hardship. You see people succeeding despite of economic challenge. And that always comes down to philosophy. So the philosophy that I'm going to help build upon tonight is this concept of duplication. And duplication is, if you've ever tried or have succeeded or been around home-based business, if you've ever built any type of business model that has the potential to go exponential, meaning that 1 + 1 does not equal 2, but 1 + 1 = 5, and then 10, and then 20, and then 40, and then 80. You know that duplication absolutely is a key, a core key to this. And you may also know, or you may be finding out that it is not only the holy grail, but it is also the ever elusive aspect of the business. It seems to elude many. It seems to be something that we know exists. We want to exist. We want to capitalize on. We want to be a part of, and we want to have happen in our business. And we wonder how to have it happen. And then when it is happening, it's very exciting. And sometimes it can go away as quickly as it showed up. And you always wonder how you can get it back again, right? It's the same thing as momentum. So let's talk a little bit about duplication. One of the absolute myths in the business is that duplication means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And we know that if that was actually the case, and if we knew that organizations actually built like that, it wouldn't take us but 10, 15, 17, 20 levels until we had enrolled the entire waking world in active greens, right? But God forbid we could get duplication to work so well that we could enroll the whole world. In the meantime, let's talk about how do you make duplication work well enough to grow the business to the point where you can start to accomplish your dream. You can start to accomplish your why, right? And that might be happening at a business that's a couple $1,000s a month. It might happen at a business that's tips that 6-figure mark. It might be at a point when you tip that 6-figure per month mark. But no matter whether you want to earn some money, more money, or a ton of money, duplication does have to occur to get to the sales revenue numbers that you want to see in order to generate income like that. So the first step in the puzzle, there's going to be 2 questions that you can build upon. And the first step in the puzzle is for you to imagine for a moment, what type of business do you want? And that can be as simple as I want a small business, I want a medium business, or I want a great big uber duper giant huge business. But even more specifically than that, what kind of business do you want? Do you want a business that is effortless, magical, fun, and quick? Or do you want a business that is grindy and it's hard and you have to push a rope or a wet noodle and you have to nag the people to join the calls and you have to urge people to come to the events and you have to wonder if your volume's going to make it at the end of the month and you have to get the numbers in and make the calls? Do you want that kind of business? Or do you want a business where it feels inspiring? It feels like a community. It feels like a collective. It's people coming together. It's people putting minds together to have it grow exponentially, to have people step into their power, to have people experience above average results, to have sales flowing in day and night from state and state and country and country and continent and continent. What kind of business do you want? And think about it in great detail. I was talking with somebody this week about the law of specificity. For some reason, if we were ever going to treat ourselves to a steak dinner, if we were going to go spend $100 or $200 or $300 at a fine restaurant, perhaps a Ruth's Chris or a fine steakhouse in any great city anywhere in the world, and we went in, the last thing that we would do when the waiter comes around or the waitress comes around to take our order, the last thing that we would do is we say, "Oh, I'll just have a piece of meat," and no, it's good, just whatever's good, cook it, however, and yeah, I don't know, whatever side's good, like. Just, whatever. You would never do that, right? And we're talking about $100, $200, and we're talking about a single meal, a meal that's going to last for a couple of hours, right? You might remember it for a long time, but we would go in and we would order, I want the filet mignon, or I want the Wagyu steak, and I want to have it cooked just on the air between medium rare and medium, but air a little bit on the side of medium. And I'd like the potato au grass, and I would like this sauce to go with it. I'm going to pair it with this kind of wine. And then you think about the first course and the second course and the third course and the dessert, right? And you would build this immaculate meal that you would enjoy. And that's only a meal, and that's only for $100 or $200. So describe with some detail, what kind of business do you want? What kind of people do you want in your business? When it comes time to come to events, when it comes time to get together for Super Saturdays, when it comes time to collaborate and talk about, okay, how are we going to grow exponentially to the next one? How are we going to double our business? How are we going to double business again? When you're spending hours and hours, strategizing with your leaders, what do you want those people to be like, right? And the truth is that you may not get exactly that type of person, but if you ask with specificity, if you get clear about that, the likelihood that you will have people in your organization, that you will have leaders like that, goes up tremendously. So the second question now is, what distributor do you want? If you could recruit the most ideal distributor in all of AAO, the best person that you could possibly think of, would that person be hard to get a hold of? Would that person show up sometimes? Would that person figure out excuses not to go to national events? Would that person order product or forget to order product, or would you have to remind them to order product? Would that person be hearing about the call, or would they be telling people about the call? Would they be hearing about the promos, or would they be pushing the promos out? Would they be talking to people occasionally, or would they be talking to people daily? Would they be, and answer the questions, fill in the blanks, right? The great distributors of the business, they would be building for the cause. They would be, having a finger on the pulse of the lifeline of their organization. They would be making personal customer sales. They would be recruiting new individuals. They would be getting people started. They'd be training. They'd be qualified influencer. They'd be area trainer. They would be doing all of the steps of the business, and the types of conversations that you would have would not feel like pushing a rope. So what do these things have to do with you? And what do these things have to do with duplication? If you were able to take those questions and to start to sketch out your idea of a great distributor in the business, you now have a guide for you to start to live up to. If you can become closer to him, we are all human. By God, we are all human. By God, we are all human. Can I get an amen? We are fallible at best, and that's the beauty of the business. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to get this thing 90% right. My gosh, you get the thing 10% right and still get world-class results. But think about that archetype of a great AAO distributor. And as you outline that may not be the exact same thing for every person. But if you can get an idea of what that's going to look like, you now have a target to start to conduct yourself by. Because the truth is that what you do will duplicate, and what you don't do will duplicate more. So we start to think about, okay, that great archetype of an AAO distributor. Now let's talk about what actually happens. So we talked about the basic mechanics of the business: invite, expose, enroll, right? Invite, expose, enroll. That's something that everybody has to do, whether you want to build an organization that pays you $1,000 a month, or you want to build an organization that pays you $100,000 a month. Invite, expose, enroll. And then beyond that, you start to model and become the type of ideal distributor that you want to be. So how does duplication actually occur? Because every single one of us has heard this idea that I can enroll 3 who enroll 3, and we duplicate that down 4 times. You'd be making $315,000 a month in just about 3 to 4 months, which, we got to get Dan on this call, because I think it's been 3 to 4 months and my $315,000 a month check ain't showed up yet. So now, how does it actually happen? Because if you've been in the business, maybe you've made a couple $1,000s so far. Some people have made comma club checks over 10,000 so far since we started in a company. Some people have yet to make a check, right? Some people are on their way. And the way that I always look at it is this: so you have to, once you're doing those 2 things that I described, you're becoming your ideal AAO distributor, and you're inviting, exposing, and enrolling. Now, the first milestone that you have to look for is to become profitable in your business. So there's 2 points of profitability. There is the point of profitability where the monthly expense to do business is covered for in commissions. So in this case, $49 to order the product that you're going to personally consume per month. That keeps you active in the business. You have to be receiving more than $49 in commissions to be profitable. Then the second point of profitability is to recoup the total expense that you have into the business. So in the beginning, that might be your qualified influencer package. In the beginning, it might be your bag of product. It might be your area trainer package. And it might be, as you start to get going in the business, a little bit of travel expenses and a little bit of event costs to come to some of the events as we start to grow and we start to have regionals, we start to have international and national events, and so forth and so on. So through retail and through recruiting, bringing in qualified influencers and selling bags of product, you now, by being a model distributor and by inviting, exposing, and collecting a decision, can get yourself to a point of profitability. And here's how duplication happens. If you can do that, which everybody can, there's not a single person, I believe, that will get started in AAO that does not have the capacity to get into profit. Many won't, but that has nothing to do with their ability to do it. If you can get into profit now, here's how you duplicate your business. You teach one person to do the same thing. You teach one person to do the same thing. And now you have a result where not only are you in profit, but you might have a little bit of extra spending money. And the tiers start to go like this. In the beginning, you're going to pay for product. Then pretty soon you're going to pay for product and you're going to pay for your cell phone bill. Then pretty soon you're going to pay for product, pay for your cell phone bill, pay for your gas money. Then pretty soon you're going to pay for your cell phone bill, your product, your gas money, your car payment, right? And it starts to keep adding and adding and adding. And here's the catch. You can duplicate this business as far as you want to go by simply always teaching the next new person exactly what you've done so far. So the easy metrics go like this. If you can become profitable and teach one person to become profitable, you will likely have a nice part-time income. If you can become profitable, teach somebody to have a nice part-time income, you will likely now start to have a very healthy part-time income. If you can start to become profitable and teach somebody to have a very healthy part-time income, maybe covering the mortgage, maybe covering the car and the mortgage, maybe covering an extra vacation this year, maybe covering a private school tuition, now you can start to have a very full-time income. If you can teach somebody to have a very full-time income, you will now start to have a very generous full-time income. And so what happens is, look for the point of profitability, become the distributor that you want to be, and look for opportunities to teach other people to do the same thing. And what you will see happen is you'll see a business where if you can do nothing more than to become profitable in year one. So let's say that to truly become profitable, cover your travel expenses, travel your product, travel the time that cover the time that you're going to put into the business. Let's say at the end of year one, you generate $5,000 in commissions, and now you double that business. How many years does it take for you to get to your dream income? What is that dream income? Is it 200,000 a year? Is it 400,000 a year? Let's go. Year one, 5, year 2, 10, year 3, 20, year 4, 40, year 5, 80, year 6, 160, 320. So what would it take? Would it be worth learning how to do this to go 7 years to earn a top 1% income worldwide residually on a part-time basis? It's possible. And if you want it to go faster, there's one metric that you can control, and it's the amount of work that you put in to the timeline. If you want to go faster, there's only one thing we do, and that is to compress timelines, fit more time into a shorter time period. And that's duplication. So with that, Kevin, take it away.
Gosh, that was so good. It like perfectly piggybacks. I guess I get to perfectly piggyback where we go from there. Getting involved, just like Payton said, it was those metrics that we were following, and then we had the messaging change. We had all these links that we could send out to people for against all odds duplication model. When I sent the what if video, and then people said, well, I texted them something that says, I came across an opportunity I think would be really, really good for you to take a look at, or something that was right up your alley, or something to that degree. And then I send the what if video, and they're like, green juice, question mark. And that was my duplication model. And then I'd say, oh, it's $50, 30 drinks. And, I was presenting features, and then it led to the initial rack of people, and then they're doing the same thing, and there's this duplication. And all of a sudden, one day the links are gone. That worked. We didn't have a presentation that we could share. So if we couldn't get people's schedules perfectly lined up with like a Monday night opportunity call, there's a hole in our duplication. There's a hole in our duplication when all of a sudden the trainings changed, and then there wasn't a training, and we're like waiting for the area trainer training to be so that we could get trained how to do the QI training, so that when people jump in, then we could get them trained in 24 to 48 hours and get the thing going faster. And so if you're in the business, if you're watching this, if it's a replay, if it's in this moment right now, as I speak in this moment, regardless of how you're watching it, you fall into the category of being like, okay, so I'm in a startup. I would love to like get going faster, more pace, that kind of a thing. And so as we expose the business to more people, there were holes in the duplication. Well, there's a couple leaders in the company that took it upon themselves to put heads together and create something that was really spearheaded by Brett Coffey. And Brett Coffey is the oldest forever new like poster child, because he would fly around the world at quick start Amway meetings and record the different talks. And he's seen this every which way it could be, and for decades of time. And so seeing his leadership step up, take the slide deck, revitalize it, completely remake it, having the input of different leaders as presentation would come into play, seeing the holes in the duplication and watching how it's all coming together. This is the week it's come together. This is the week, largely in part to Brett, Jordan, Dan, some of the other people, everything that has kind of come together. You've got a presentation which blows everything out of the water, and we think we can get it under 15 minutes. We've got the aspect of the first area trainer training for us to be able to know how to train the QI trainings is this Thursday. Dan launched a promo with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where they're paying $25 bonus on all new influencers, plus 2 times fast starts on all QIs, as well as the trainers as well. So if you sign someone up, you think about that. You're getting the 75 you would get plus the 75 you get, because it's double, you're getting the 25, and then you start adding it up, and depending on the rank you are, if you're in the area, that's $200 per sign up. Think about the money it could generate if you could do what Payton said and compress timeframes, because this is the week. There is the training for us to know how to train all the people. So now we can get on a training schedule where trainings are there. The presentation is done. I'm sure there's going to be a recording of that we could then use as a tool to duplicate and, again, compress timeframes using technology. Brett has been working so much on some of what has been happening. I mean, we've been talking for the last couple of weeks. So much leadership and value has been given by him. I asked if he would speak on our call tonight and tease us with a little bit of that presentation, but it's so much deeper, because he knows how to take timeframes and compress them and build in a way that's like muscle memory experiential, but the duplication model wasn't quite there. So he takes it upon himself to do that. And I'm just going to pass it to Brett, because we've got a blitz lined up to utilize the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I don't want to screw the pooch on that. I'm going to pass it to Brett. So Brett, can you take over?
Hey guys, thanks for that introduction. I don't know if I feel really happy about that, or if I feel really old now. But yeah, we've been doing some stuff behind the scenes, and you guys know about all the different changes that we've been through over the last 3 months. And I've always been that individual of hey, I'm just going to go out and make it happen regardless. If I got to create the tool, I'll create the tool. So if you guys want, I'll show you a 23 slide deck super fast. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. Host disabled, participant screen sharing. Do you know how to fix that? What if I was the co-host? I wonder if I could do it. You're muted too. I can't hear you. So
how does one co-host?
I think if you go to participants, you click on my name, you can click more, and I think it'll make me a co-host.
Oh, that's not the one.
Go down to the bottom, Gavin, you can see the participants in the bottom of the Zoom screen. There's 17.
Yeah, it doesn't let me.
Kevin, it's Suzanne. You should be able to just click on Brett's name and 3 dots will come up and it'll say add as co-host. Like when you go to his name and go to the far right. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Let's see.
So find me.
I have it.
On my picture, there's
I don't
3 dots.
I don't think I have that ability.
You should, because you're the host. Beside it, it says mute, and then there's 3 dots right in my picture, not in the chat.
It doesn't allow me to do that.
Oh, you must have some like really funky settings on your deal.
What if you sent it to me or something and I could share it that way? And then you could talk about the blitz while I get it all loaded up.
The only way you could share it is that video that I sent you, because it would take too long to email. It's too big of a file because it's got to bring the videos and stuff.
Go into the blitz and I'll get that all loaded up.
Okay. So I was going to show you a quick YouTube video too, but that's not going to work. Kevin could actually show this. There's a gentleman by the name of Holton Bugs. Don't know if you know him, big networker, 7-8 figure income earner. And when he started way back in the day before Zoom and everything was done through a house meeting, he booked multiple meetings in a row and gave his team almost no time to think about it. Meaning that we're going to have a meeting at 10. You mean 10 next Tuesday? No, 10 in 2 hours. Get 5 people here each. And then again at noon, and then again at 2. And he in his first day had a goal to hit $70,000 and he came up slightly short, but $70,000 in one day is pretty good money for whatever he was doing at the time. So what I did was kind of take that concept and go, you know what, we really need to do that for ourselves. We need to put our own schedule together. So I've put together 12 Zooms. Let me have a look. I can't share anything. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting it with 4 different time zones. The West Coast, obviously Utah, Toronto, New York, Canada, States, and then Australia and the UK. Doing 4 Zooms a day. Tomorrow we have the corporate Zoom at 6, but just in my time zone, in the Vancouver time zone, I'm going to do one at noon, 4, corporate is at 6, then one at 8, then on the Tuesday at 9 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., 11 p.m., Tuesday again, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 6 p.m., 11 p.m. Those are all PST. And doesn't matter how many people show up. My attitude's always been, you know, you could have one person show up on that Zoom and it could be the next Dan Putnam. That's my attitude. I don't care how many people show up. I'm looking for the next Dan that I can work with. And I think Payton said something along those lines while he was talking at 500 miles an hour, which was awesome. So that's the game plan. Just flood this thing with Zooms. And if what I've been telling my team is if you really get what's going on here with the extra bonuses and the money, if you work towards getting as many people on the Zoom on Monday, and we do a good job showing the Zoom, the newest person should bring back 5 or 10 people to the next Zoom. Like, so you get a new person in right after noon. At 4 p.m. when the next Zoom hits, they should bring 5 people back. It's an incredible way to set up an area influencer with the newest person that has some vision, that thinks, hey, I could do that. I could bring 3 people to the next Zoom and have them get in at $397. And for your newest person, if they do that, they're going to make $675 because they get the double bonus, plus they get the 225 fast start bonus for bringing in 3 QIs. So now imagine duplicating that whole process out. It would be absolutely crazy. Where we go? Oh, the screen all just changed. So that's kind of the game plan. I'm hoping to have Jordan on a couple of the Zooms. I'm hoping to have Kevin on a couple of the Zooms, and we'll do it together because we've been working on the slide decks together. I was going to blow Kevin's mind and show him the 2-page document that I just finished creating, but I can't do that because we can't share the screen. But he's going to show you the slide deck. We just did it in a quick movie format. It was easier for me to send it so they could look at it. And a couple things have changed even from what you see here. So you can talk about the slides if you want, Kev. Just go through it really quick, unmute yourself.
Can you guys see the screen going on there?
Yeah.
So the overview of this, I mean, Brett, you're probably more qualified on this. It's going through fast, kind of give you the idea of what it's not. The idea, initially building the dream, getting people.
Wake up
to
in the
believe.
same situation, day after day.
Can you hear that?
Your life is deeply unsatisfying. You're stuck in traffic on the way to a job you hate. 8 hours later, you're
That's just one of the videos that we had from before that I cut and edited.
For you. And that's the thing. It's waiting. It's not coming for you. You got to go out and get it. And what you need to do is simple in concept, hard in practice. But make no mistake, to get that life you want, you're going to have to go against all odds.
Just a power statement. No one's going to come to your house, make your dreams come true. You actually have to put in the work and do the work. And we changed this slide, get everything you want out of life, what AAO is about, living life on your terms and so much more. Then I changed this a little bit, but it really talks about, if I gave you $200 million today, but then I clarified that you only had 5 years to live, what would you change in your life? And this was written in a book called Built to Last, Jim Collins, great book. Almost everybody that he interviewed in that book said, I'd change everything in my life. Well, that's the whole premise. What are you willing to do? What are you going to change to build an income that can impact your life? So we have coaching, training, accountability. Have you ever been to a Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Eric Worre?
There are 5 things that you
non-negotiables.
need to do every day, no matter what. 5 non-negotiable daily habits that you need to set in stone. And these 5 habits will transform your life. The first habit is a nutrition plan. The second habit is an exercise plan. The third habit is a personal development plan. The fourth habit is a plan to improve your financial situation. And the key to making these 4 habits stick is the 5th habit, the habit of accountability, an obsession with tracking your progress every day, no matter what. Live your life by design. Don't live by accident. Maybe you're trapped in a bad situation and you feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. The odds might be stacked against you, but if you can get focused, you can go against all odds and become the architect of your life. It's time for you to initiate the non-negotiable contract with yourself.
So that's something that we can play. It's only, but it's under a minute long. So I cut them up. And they'll probably change when we come out with some of the new videos. And then this is really a Jordan slide. Is it still about an apple a day? And it talks about health and fitness. Here's the foundation, our greens, and what they're all about. Everybody knows this slide, the 3 blends. You can talk about that, let them read it. You can take any 3 of these. And Kevin, I did put in on that slide, wow. I put in greens, probiotics, and NO booster, so people know what each of the 3 things are.
Heck yeah. Talk a little bit about this one.
And this is my baby from years ago, because the way we used to build the business back in the day, and way before there was all this technology, that's how old I am. We really talked about traditional franchises, and McDonald's is the go-to baby of all franchises. And what does it cost to build a franchise like that? $1 million. You got to have $500,000 liquid. Subway's a little bit better price. If you got 200K in the bank, 80 to 300,000 in liquid, you're good to go. And then now today we have this gig economy, Uber, Fiverr, DoorDash. Well, it doesn't cost anything to do. You basically, if you got a driver's license and a phone, you're good to go. But there's no fixed hours. The income is capped. You're a solopreneur, so you're not getting any residual based income. You don't have any inventory, but you have contract work if you work at Fiverr. So it's better than trying to spend $1 million on a franchise, but it still limits you based on time, no residual. You can build it around a 9 to 5, career if you have that, but it's still tough. Well, what we do, and what I've always said from day one is we build private franchises. We franchise ourselves through other people. So, for every dollar that I help Kevin make, if I make a dime off of it, how many dollars do I want to talk him into? Well, as many as I can. Then this is just our compensation. We all know about the customer program. This is all about the matrix pay, power of 3, and what really is inside it. And then coach and trainers, here's what you get. Pretty simple. And then we just do a recap. And I think I changed this one too, Kev. You don't have the updated one of this. We talked about health and wealth and finances. And at the end of the day, now it's time to step up and make a decision.
So what is your vision here with this? If you could put it into a duplication model while we have you for the closeout, and then a call to action with regards to that, because we have this blitz in mind. We have these tools we're going to put to use. Now you guys have seen them. Brett, what do you think?
Yeah, I just, the whole concept behind those slides is to make it so that the newest person could actually go out there and do a Zoom with a friend and not have to think they know everything. Just literally walk through the slides. And if they have to say, hey, I don't have a great answer for that, let me get Kevin on the line, or let's ask that question later. That's the whole goal. Then the blitz itself really is just, it's nothing more than that. It's to flood the market with as many people as we can. Like let's build each Zoom so it grows, and that the numbers grow. And I know that, a bunch of them are in different time zones depending on where you are in the world, and that'll affect who's on and who's not. But, at the end of the day, it all comes down to like what Payton was saying, the contacting and the inviting and that one habit, you could have all the greatest tools in the world. You could have the best, you know, the one thing that every network marketer that starts off goes, well, what's the best approach for this person? Well, it's the best approach is the one that you'll use, because there is no best approach. It really comes down to what are you willing to say to a person and not worry about the outcome. Just do the work and invite them to the Zoom. And the way I see it is if we do these Zooms, then we can have corporate do a Zoom on Monday, which is the 30,000 square foot view. You know, Dan does an incredible job talking about all the different things. But they don't talk a lot about the dream and the why. That falls on us to have the individual person, that, you know, the prospect, get excited about what they're seeing. You know, what is it they can achieve doing what they're doing? You know, my age group, 40 to 60, they're all looking for an exit strategy. There's not one person that I talk to that goes, yeah, I'm locked in. I want to work from 9 in the morning till 7 at night, drive 1 hour each way, spend no time with my family. That's my ultimate goal. Well, nobody wants to do that. They can't, they're so vested in what they do, they can't give it up. They need some kind of, and they're not gonna go drive Uber. That's not their exit strategy. They need something with a little more bite to it. And I've been doing this a long time, and I've never seen a comp plan like this. Like, I've been in a bunch of different businesses, and there's nothing like this. The amount of money that they give for what we're doing, and the entry point's so low, even if it is Christmas. And if somebody tells you, hey, look, I can't afford 397. Well, that's a big statement. It's either one of two things. They don't know that they really can afford it, or we haven't done a very good job of finding out why they would give up the 397 to be part of what we're doing.
It's true.
So we got 12 Zooms in 3 days. I'll be on every single one.
Dan Putnam says the thing. He says, what does he say? Is it one day or is it day one?
Yeah, exactly.
Today is day one. I always thought it started with the list. There's something in my consciousness that when I write a list with some people on it, I have to call or text them. I got to do it. And you think about what we're doing today with this call. This call is going to get sent out to a bunch of people. This Zoom is going to get sent out to a bunch of people. The slide deck is going to get sent out. The presentations are going to happen. We're going to pick the best one. And then you can use that as a tool. Maybe a 15-minute tool to lead into a Monday night call. And then we will end up having a sizzle video because corporate's working on a couple of those. There will end up being the sizzle video, the 15-minute, like, explain it, hit the why, leads to the like bigger detail 30,000 foot view. And then, I mean, all they got to do is go to a physical event at some point in time, and that's it. But there's a duplication model that's coming together, and the training is here. And there, if we have our first area trainer, if we play this blitz out, you could have 20 or 30 people on that area trainer training because of that. We could have them, the QI trainings the following weeks, and the momentum it creates, plus it pays you double, and then bonuses on top of it. Think of the money that could make the people that haven't joined yet if they jumped in on the blitz. Anyways, that's what I have tonight. Thank you so much, Brett, for all that you've done for us and for the people that have yet to join. And thank you all for being on tonight's call. I'm so grateful that you guys took time out of your day to be a part of this. Thank you, Payton, so much for dropping that. It's such a perfect thing. This will all be available on the YouTube channel. And as always, we do this every Sunday, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Have a good weekend. Thank you, guys.